Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amin here, and today I'm making a video that is actually probably the highest requested video I have ever gotten over the past year or so that I've been on YouTube. And so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my meal prep journey and some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and hopefully this will inspire you or give you a bit of a starting point of what you could do to maybe jump into the realm of meal prepping if that interests you. Just to give you a bit of a background, I feel like it's important to say that I'm vegetarian, and so a lot of the meal preps that I do, obviously I focus on trying to have a source of protein that doesn't come from an animal product, because I don't eat any meat, and I just recently started eating eggs. And so I started actually meal prepping probably in 2018, I think, so about 5 years ago. And that's 4 years ago. 4 years ago I started, maybe it was 5 years ago, I don't remember. I started meal prepping when I was in undergrad, and it kind of started as a New Year's resolution. You know how Snapchat gives you like those memories? Every New Year's I get a memory saying, take a picture of my meal prep, and then saying, I don't know if I'll be able to keep this up. And here we are literally 4 or 5 years later and I'm still doing it. And so the reason I started meal prepping was because I just wanted to have a healthier lifestyle. I think one of the biggest things I always struggle with is just food and portion control and what to eat in general, and it is just something that has made it easier for me and less time consuming to eat something that's healthy and already prepared and ready to go. And so that's why I started meal prepping originally, and it's actually something that has stuck around for as many years as it has. So the purpose of the meal prepping when I was a student was because I was spending a really long time on campus. I used to work on campus. I used to, of course, attend classes on campus. And so I would be there probably for 10 to 12 hours per day. And I wanted to have a lunch, of course, that I could have with me. And so that was what the initial purpose of meal prepping was. And then I went to grad school, kind of the same thing. I was going to be on campus for a really long time, again, worked on campus. And now I am a working woman. You could say I work like a 9 to 5. And I, of course, still meal prep my lunches. And so that's another thing that I usually only meal prep my lunches. So I'll eat the same thing 5 days a week for lunch. Sometimes I meal prep my breakfast depending on how much time I have over the weekend to do the preparation, because I don't really eat a full breakfast, and these days I actually eat while I'm driving, which I don't think is necessarily a good option for everybody. But since I don't have like a full meal, I usually just drink my coffee and then eat something small while I'm driving, because I wake up like 20 minutes before I have to leave, and it's just something that I have accepted. I'm not a morning person, it's not going to change. And then for dinners, I live at home right now, so everything I eat is whatever my family's eating for dinner for the most part. Recently, I have been trying to have some quick dinners that I can eat if I don't enjoy what my family's eating, or if it's not as healthy as I would like it to be. But that is kind of the background story. And so my friends have seen me meal prepping over the years, and I actually started sharing a lot of my meal preps and recipes on my Instagram pages, so on my personal Instagram. And when I kind of created the Amin Overshares aspect of my life, I started sharing some of my meal preps there as well. So I'm gonna pop up a few of them on the screen so you have an idea of the things that I like to eat. But all of the tips that I'm gonna tell you about today are pretty general, and you can kind of mold them to fit your lifestyle, to fit your diet. And then at the end, I'm gonna take you along with me while I meal prep one of my meals, that's breakfast and lunch, for the actual week, so you can see it in action. Okay, so the first tip I have is to find recipes that you are actually excited about. And so I have spent a lot of time over the years building a library of different recipes that I have. And honestly, I like to try new things all the time. And at this point, even like 4 or 5 years down the road, I still follow recipes. And by follow, I'm not a very quantitative person. I don't really like measuring things, so I don't actually follow the recipe by the book, but kind of more so as a guideline of like, what should I buy for my groceries this week, and what am I going to be making, how long is it going to take, so all of those kinds of things. And so one of the things really important to me is finding something that I would actually be excited to eat, something I would like to try. And so I almost every week try something new, and there's only maybe a handful of recipes that I've repeated over the years, things that I've tried and I've been like, okay, you know what, this needs to go into my roster, like I really enjoy this and I would be okay with eating it again. And the reason I think this is important is because you're eating the same thing 5 days a week, and for me that's fine. I know a lot of people can't necessarily do that, but I don't want to be eating like the same thing 5 days a week every month. So I try to change it up as much as I can, and like it only takes a few minutes. Once you get into the groove of things, you find people that like the same tastes as you, that have the same diets as you, and then you know that, okay, I can trust this person to come up with good recipes. So I will link some of the people that I've been using recipes from for a long time in the description below. And a lot of the recipes I end up making are vegan just because of the lifestyle that I live and the high protein content that I want, that I strive for. And I always substitute things if I have to or if I don't have something. So definitely try new recipes. I have like on my Chrome, one of my bookmarks folder is just recipes, and then over the years I've broken it down into like some more healthy recipes. I have crock pot recipes, I have breakfast recipes, protein recipes. Like I have like subfolders in my folders because I'm just an organized person. But I definitely recommend that you take a bit of a deep dive, find some things that interest you on the internet, and maybe if this is like a beginner thing for you, find some easy recipes, right? Things that are not going to take a long time, things that don't require a lot of ingredients, and just start like playing around with those. When you're also looking for a recipe, one of the tips that I have is to try to look for recipes that are meal prep friendly. A lot of recipes now will actually say like meal prep lunch recipes, which is really good. And the reason I say that is because when you're meal prepping, it's not the same as creating a dinner that you're going to be eating right away, because these meals have to last for 5 days. And so there's a lot of things that I consider when I'm trying to decide which recipe to make. For example, I don't want something that's going to get soggy, because why would you want to eat 5-day-old soggy food? I also try to consider, okay, is this something that's gonna spill easily? So sometimes like soups and stews and things like that, not that I spill stuff all the time, but there's like a higher chance for it to spill. Is it something messy? Is it something I need to warm up? So all of these things are kind of something to take into consideration. Usually what I do is if I have like dips or sauces or something, I will just put that in the container the day of, so the morning before I leave, so things don't get soggy, of course. But that's something to think about when you're trying to plan ahead when you're actually going to be eating your lunch. I kind of talked about this before, but another tip that I have is to not force it on yourself. Like, don't be meal prepping your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks every single day if you're just starting out, because it can get kind of boring just eating the same thing all day, every day for a whole week. And so like I said, I do not meal prep my dinners because I need to have some variety in my life, and also it's just a lot of work to have to do that. Whereas I know when I'm not at home, that's when I need to have like food prepared. So maybe start out small, maybe just start with lunches first, see how it goes. If you decide, okay, this is really working for me, I want to be more consistent, maybe add breakfast. And then if you're like, okay, you know what, I need more structure in my life, I need more of a routine, then maybe sure, add dinner. Or I know one of the YouTubers that I was watching, she doesn't meal prep her like meals actually, but she'll like pre-cut things and store them in the fridge. I forget what the term she used for it was, but it was kind of like she would cut up a bunch of vegetables, or she would pre-cook pasta and like things, and then have it ready to go. And then depending on the mood, like if she's feeling for a salad that day, she already has the ingredients ready for a salad. If she's feeling like pasta, she'll have the ingredients already ready for pasta. So it's things that are easy to grab. So maybe that's something that you could try instead of just fully preparing the recipes in advance. Another tip that I have is to pick good containers, and I laugh about this one because I had used the same like plastic containers for 3 years before I kind of graduated myself, 3 or 4 years. So I had the same containers since I first started meal prepping up until this last summer when I started working and I had more money. But there's a lot of containers on the market because it's so trendy and popular to be meal prepping. And so I started with containers that were plastic for a few reasons. Number one, it was cheap. I remember I got them at Canadian Tire, and it was, I think 10 containers for like $10, like containers and lids, so 20 pieces for like $10. It was very affordable. And like I said, I was a student, right? And so I would be fitting everything in my backpack and going to school for like a 10-hour day. And what some of my friends used to make fun of me because my backpack was so full. I also used to go to the gym and like stuff like that. So it was like a lot of stuff to carry. But the plastic containers are not heavy. And so that was something that I tried to put into consideration and say, okay, I'm taking a lot of things with me. I need to take food with me, but I can't have it be too hard to carry around. So that's when I use plastic containers. Of course, plastic containers, they are not necessarily as good quality. And so when I started working, I graduated myself and I bought some glass containers. I got these from Amazon. If they're still available, I'll link them. But it just has like a really good lid, and I really like these lids that have like I don't know what they're called, but they basically clasp down because it avoids spills. And so I enjoy these containers a lot more now. And since I go to work, I don't take anything else with me really. Like I only take my lunch and I use the same bag every day, so it's not too much to carry. And it's not like for me, I'm not actually commuting. Like I'm not taking the transit to get to work, I drive. And so it's not heavy for me to carry. So I literally just take my lunch and my water bottle every single day, and that's it. The last tip that I have is to kind of integrate this into your schedule as much as you can. So for me, I know Sundays are the day that I meal prep, and I always know that Sunday evenings is going to be clear for me in the schedule, and I'm pretty much schedule everything else around that time. For me, I work Monday to Friday, so I need to have that Sunday to kind of prepare myself for the work week, but also it gives me a chance to have some me time. And it's hard now that I live with my family because I'm never actually alone in the kitchen. But cooking for yourself has like a different kind of level of self-care. It's not only like actually nourishing your body by eating healthy meals, just the act of actually cooking and not thinking about anything else, I find it kind of therapeutic for myself. And so that's something that I really enjoy doing. And so I am motivated to kind of carve out that time for myself every Sunday evening. But of course, you do whatever works for you. There are days of the week where I'm so busy on the weekends, I do not have time on Sunday. And honestly, sometimes if I don't hit that mark by Sunday, I like lose my motivation and I say, okay, I guess I'm just not meal prepping this week. I'll just eat my lunches on the go, like whatever's going on, I'll figure it out. But then recently I've learned to be a little bit more flexible. If I can't make something on Sunday night, like, you know what, if I have to eat something different on Monday, that's fine. But then Monday evening when I come back from work, let's just try and make something for the rest of the week. And so maybe just giving yourself a little bit of flexibility, just a little bit of grace, that even if you're not on your regular routine, it doesn't mean the rest of the week is gonna trash. You can still try to save the rest of the week. And honestly, it helps me feel so much better about myself when I have my shit together, and just having meals ready to go and not being worried about what to eat is like the nicest feeling. So that's another tip that I have, is just to kind of carve out some time in your schedule on a weekly basis that you know is dedicated to just your meal prep. So those were all of my tips, and now I wanted to kind of take you along with me while I actually cook my meals for the week. This week I was making a breakfast and a lunch, and so for my breakfast I made these little egg bites, and so they're really easy to make. And another thing that I try to do is be as efficient with my time as possible, which is so much fun for me, is to see what can I do in the least amount of time as possible. So I am making my breakfast and my lunches usually at the same time. Like once something goes in the oven, start something else, put something on the stove while you're cutting something else, things like that. And I just find it so much fun. I don't know if I'm weird like that. And then the other thing I was making for lunch this week was Thai inspired curry. And so I had that as well. And I'm gonna link both those recipes down below. The Thai curry was a new thing that I was trying for the first time. And then the egg bites, I actually make them quite often because, like I said, I don't really have a large breakfast. And then I would just eat 2 of these while I'm on the road, while I'm driving to work. And so let's go into that part of the video. really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing me in action, actually meal prepping. And so like I said, I do this every week, or my aim is to do it every week. If you want to keep up with the recipes that I'm making and what I'm eating throughout the week, definitely follow me on Instagram. I share most of my recipes there, including the links, because if you are inspired to make something, I want you to be able to do that also. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, my vegetarian life content, my vlog style content, I'm a genetic counselor and sometimes people are interested in learning about that, definitely subscribe to my channel and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.